Hey guys, Butch Lehman here. This is a video that I've really dreaded making, and I wasn't sure if I even wanted to. I had to kind of force myself out here to put this together, but I do feel obligated to. I'm sure you've heard the news already that we lost a really special person here in Minnesota. Really dear friend of mine, Mike Lufholm, and I wanted to come out here and share some of my memories and stories and experiences with Mike, because I really want you all to know him and understand him in the way that I did. And it's tough. I think this is going to be helpful for my own grieving process. But I brought you out here first to the Overpass skate park, or what used to be the Overpass skate park. It closed down last year, all the ramps were removed. But we're actually standing in the exact spot where I first met Money Mike. Now, to put this into context, this was about 20 years ago, probably 2004, 2005. And I was out here with some of my friends for a skate session, and Mike randomly showed up. I didn't know him, I'd never met him before, and he just started killing the up across and down box, back and forth, back and forth. It was just one trick, one amazing switch up after another. That's a testament to Mike's consistency and talent as a skater, which, if you know, you know.
Did you see that? No.
Before I go any further with some more stories though, there's a link to a GoFundMe for his wife Erin and his newborn baby, Olivia, and it would mean the world to me if you reached out and left an encouraging message, or if you're able to make a donation. We want to make sure that they're taken care of during this time. Now, the first thing that I wanted to address was his name. We called him Money Mike, and I think a lot of people are unaware how he got that nickname. And he was always having fortuitous situations unfold. Maybe it was a win at a casino, maybe it was some sort of rock he discovered. Regardless of the situation, Money Mike seemed to have good fortune follow him wherever he went. And I have one example of that I think is a really cool story, but way back years ago during the Street Fighter 3 competition, we were at this down rail. It's maybe 16, 18 stairs long. And if you know Mike, he was really good at torque grinds. Front torque, back torque. I don't really understand it. It's a trick that's really difficult for me. But while we were skating this down rail, I had $1 with me, and during his heat, I jokingly said, "Mike, I'll give you $1 if you front torque down this rail." And he just looks at me with this look of determination, and even though I was joking, he took it seriously. First try, that's all it took him. You can see him land the trick, the crowd reacted. Unfortunately, it's cut off a little bit short, but I walked over with so much pride, and I handed him that $1, gave him a big hug. And that's not where this story ends. He took that $1, and Tulo and Vunley were hosting a skate raffle for some different parts and prizes, and all that money would go in to fund the winner of the competition. With $1, Mike walked over to the raffle, and he entered his name. At the end of the competition, they were filming the results, and third prize, pair of frames. Second place, pair of frames. First place was a brand new pair of Demetrius George Killer Bees boots, the yellow Thrones from USD. And that was the pair of skates that Mike wanted, and they were in his size. So I knew, walking up to that with my camera, because I'd been filming the competition, that he was gonna win this raffle. And it wasn't rigged, I just knew that it was gonna work out for him. So you can actually hear me call it on the tape before they announced the name and unrolled the paper.
Oh.
It's totally Money Mike. But yeah, Money Mike won. That's just the way he was. He was Money Mike. He had good fortune following him regularly. So anyway, like I was saying, Mike had a way of making his own luck, his own good fortune, through the fruits of his efforts and his personality and his nonstop persistence. One example of that is he struggled with addiction, with alcohol, until one day he decided he was just done with it. I think this was about 12 years ago, and he found that he had all this extra money since he wasn't buying liquor anymore, and he invested that into camera gear, camera supplies, and it didn't take him long to discover a passion and a talent he never knew he had in photography. And Mike would do anything to get the shot. In fact, there's a photo here of me doing a backslide over top of him, and I'll never forget that day either. There was a competition earlier. It was a out competition, like a little mini game of skate that Mike was hosting, and I actually won that competition, and I still have the trophy to this day. But immediately after the competition was over, we all migrated to street skating, and there's this little rail that I was dinking around with, and Mike told me I should backslide it, so I did a backslide. and then I decided to cross grab backslide it, and he just laid right underneath the rail. And I was actually more concerned for his safety than Mike was concerned for his own safety. And he's like, "Nah, I trust you, Butch." And he laughed it off like that. And I don't know, it was just really rewarding and gratifying to know that your friends trust you in that situation, even when you don't trust yourself in the same way. That's just how Mike was. He was the kind of guy that would lift you up in any situation, this constant, unrelenting source of positivity. And I think that's important that people know that. There was actually another situation that comes to mind recently at Bitter Cold Showdown. CJ Wellsmore was doing this big quarter pipe gap, and he slipped out and came flying in low at Mike's ankles as Mike was taking photos. And in a second, he reacted with cat-like reflexes, jumped over CJ. CJ slid underneath. It was an amazing save, and the whole crowd went wild, and it was justifiable. One of the best tricks at Bitter Cold Showdown, if you ask me. He developed a hobby for collecting rocks on the shores of Lake Superior, in particular agate finds. And I remember he started an Instagram page for that, and it instantly blew up. I believe he has like 40,000 some followers that follow regularly, and some of his videos have hundreds of thousands of views, and he's become like a pillar of that rock collecting community as well, showing just how diversified his talents and interests are, but how he has this uncanny ability to just instantly succeed at whatever he does. And speaking of collecting things, Mike also collected skitches. Yeah, you heard that right, skitches, grabbing onto moving vehicles. And it wasn't uncommon to go on his Instagram page and find him holding onto the back of some unique vehicle. He captured the Cybertruck, added that to his collection. He had the Mystery Machine, and even the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. It wouldn't surprise me if there were some other unique vehicles out there like the Batmobile or something like that, but you never knew what you were gonna see on Money Mike's Instagram page, and those types of videos always brought a smile to my face. I'm sure they did for a number of others out there too. Now Mike started a Friday night skate group, and one of the best sights to see is him jamming out to the tunes with a boombox, being pushed around in a baby stroller. And it was always fun to look at and to see, but he brought in all those great positive vibes and pulled in different people into the skating community that didn't already have a home. And that's probably what I'll remember the most about him, is having that gravity to just pull in people in a positive way. It's something I admire and something that I've tried to do myself, but not nearly to the level of success that we've seen from Money Mike. To tell another quick story, a few years ago at the Northshore Inline Marathon, after completing the marathon on Saturday and skating 26 miles, we go into day 2 on Sunday, and rollerblade team hosted an aggressive skating competition at a couple of the smaller skate parks scattered around Duluth. Now Mike didn't have his aggressive skates with him, but I had an extra pair of razors in my car, and he begrudgingly decided that he would use them. They're a little bit small for him, the liners were really stiff, the wheels were torn down, and not the type of setup he would typically skate. Despite that, he still destroyed all of us, including me, in my own skates. He took second place, finishing just under Brad Magnuson at that Northshore Inline Marathon competition. He even followed it up the next year by beating me again with his own skates this time, taking second place, where I took third place. So he was an amazingly talented skater, regardless of the circumstance, the context, or what type of skates were under his feet. And I think that's a testament to Money Mike's character and how he would want to be remembered in this community. To call him an ambassador for rollerblading is simply an understatement. Money Mike was so much more than that. You could take something like the RTP, Roll Twin Ports skate series here in Minnesota, the longest running skate competition Minnesota had ever had. Money Mike ran that for a number of years. And I know that was always a highlight for me and a number of other people, to get together, to travel up to Duluth, and to come together as one unified skating community and watch people shred. It was a really good time, and some of my fondest memories are from that event. We also had the Back Channel Brewery hosting the Bladerade Blade Off every year, and Money Mike was the organizer and the MC behind that for every year of its existence, bringing everybody together with some small obstacles, regardless of how talented people were, or if they wanted to compete or just skate casually. There was something there for everyone. There were good times, there were food trucks, there was limited edition Bladerade beer, and it was just such a great community event. Afterwards, people would put on their big wheel skates and capture the sunset on the trails around Lake Minnetonka. Truly a unique situation, and none of that would have happened without Money Mike's leadership and his coordination on that event. One other event that we have to mention is the EX Games competition, or the X Games. For a few years, the X Games was held in the Twin Cities at US Bank Stadium, and so Money Mike and some of the other Crow skaters decided to host a competition right outside the X Games facility. This was so memorable in a number of different ways, and kind of a way to remind people of the history and legacy that rollerblading had with the X Games. And there are a number of people that were passing by watching us skate the rails right outside the stadium on their way in to watch the X Games. So such a unique concept and a really memorable event, and that never would have happened without Money Mike. And you know, it goes without saying that Money Mike was a uniquely talented skater with one of the most diverse trick vocabularies you could ever see. This guy was a switch-up master. He had front torques and back torques on lock, negative tricks. Basically everything that I'm terrible at is where Mike excelled, and he was sort of my nightmare matchup to play in a game of skate. He did a 30-day blade challenge back in 2020, where every day he'd go out and film clips out in the snow, the rain, the cold, and that's not the kind of mental toughness that I have. I don't like skating in the cold, and I know he inspired a lot of people to put the blades back on and rejoin the skating community just with his sheer tenacity and willpower and commitment to getting out there each and every day.
Either leave or I'll call the police.
Okay, I'm out of here.
Trespass.
And I wanted to share this with you as well, but this was the last message Mike sent me. This wasn't a video clip he filmed, but something he just saw on Instagram and felt compelled to compliment me. And he did that more than once. This is something Mike did regularly in person and online, always being a positive supporter and really the best cheerleader you could ask for, regardless of the type of skating you did or the skill level you brought to the table. Mike was in your corner to celebrate all of the wins and pick you up from all of the losses. And if we could all do more of that, I think that's maybe the best way to carry on the legacy that Money Mike has left behind.
We were discussing is the heart that Zach Hagen put into that 360 sole and how perfect he landed at the end. That's worth $50 to Back Channel Brewing. That's what skating's all about, is sticking with it even if you take
Yeah,
fails. He stuck with it and he landed it really well. So.
Thank you, dude.
But Mike's biggest adventure was his family. A few weeks ago, Mike and his wife Erin welcomed their baby daughter, Olivia, into the world. It was their firstborn. And I've never seen Mike so excited for anything in his life. He posted pictures to Facebook, to Instagram. He went to the classes. He was talking to all the other blade dads out there for advice, and we were all excited for him. And this is what hurts the most, is that she won't have her dad there growing up. And to see Erin have to take on that responsibility alone, it's unfair. He didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve that. And to see that family torn apart when they had all these wonderful experiences in life ahead, and after all the journey of self-improvement that Mike put together, and how he picked everybody else up and lifted up the community around him, it hurts really bad. We need to make sure that his family gets taken care of. Right now there's a GoFundMe link, which I'll leave down in the description of this video. If you're able to contribute financially, I'm gonna ask that you do so. Many of us have already, and it's astounding how much support Money Mike and his family have seen from the inline skating community and well beyond it. But if you can't support in that way, there's two other things that you can do that are equally important. Share your stories, share your memories of Money Mike. That's how we're gonna preserve his legacy, is by sharing all those and cataloging them. And that was really my inspiration behind making this video, is, like I said earlier, I want people to know Money Mike the way I knew him. The last thing that you can do is reach out to your friends and family members. Tell them that you love them. Tell them that you support them. Tell them that you appreciate them while you have the opportunity to do so. You know, our time is precious. It's unpredictable. Every day that we have on this earth is a gift. And if you don't let the people know in your life how you feel about them, you may regret it someday. Hey guys, let's get one more hand for Money Mike for organizing today and picking the spots and stuff.
Money!
Seriously, you've been a force for Minnesota blading for the longest time. We appreciate it.
It's great to everybody in my hometown. Like, I grew up, that was one of the first handrails I ever did. I did Mizzou on that. Yeah. like we've been coming here since forever, so.
Anyway, guys, if you're still watching this video, thanks for sticking around and watching me ramble underneath an overpass. It's really noisy down here, but the location has a lot of personal meaning and symbolism to me, and it just felt right to come back to the place where I first met Money Mike. That's gonna do it for this one. I don't really know what else there is to say. I'm Butch Lehman of Roll, Minnesota, reminding you to stay safe, stay healthy, and get out there and do some rollerblading. Do it for Money Mike. We'll see you guys. Peace.